So today I'm gonna show you guys how to make these no-sew cats. The pattern is available on my blog, which I will link in the description. I'm gonna be using a stitch marker, these little 10mm safety eyes with the backs, sewing needle, some polyfill, 4-weight yarn, scissors obviously, and this is a 3.5. I don't know if I said that, but that is information you have now. And I'm just going to start with a slip knot, a loose slip knot, and this will count as a magic ring. So I'm just gonna yarn over like I make a slip knot and make a slip knot. Simple. And then I place my hook right there and then yarn over and draw through. And this is how you make a easy slip knot, or an easy magic ring I should say. And we're just going to single crochet 6 for round 1, 6 single crochet into the magic ring. And if you're making this with plush yarn, I suggest to put 12 single crochet into your magic ring and then proceed with round 3, because if not, it'll pucker and it'll look weird and nobody wants that. So this is 6 single crochet into my slip knot magic ring, and I'm just gonna pull this to tighten the magic ring. We're going to work round 2. Round 2 is just, we're gonna increase into each stitch around. So we'll be putting 2 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches to make 12. Okay, so round 3, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the, this is going to be the repeat, so we're going to work 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch we're going to do an increase, and we're just repeating that around. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet in the next stitch. And you should have 18 stitches at the end of round 3. The stitch count is going to be important later. Okay, round 4, we're going to work 1 in the next 2 stitches, and then increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochet, 1 in the next 2, and then increase in the next stitch. And then you will have 24 stitches at the end of this round. All right, that's round 4 complete, 24 stitches. For round 5, this is going to be the round where we create these feet, which are puff stitches. They're going to be yarn over 4 time puff stitches with 9 loops on the hook. So this is going to be the repeat around. So first we start with a increase, work 1 in the next 2 stitches, so 1 and then 2, and then we're going to yarn over and create our first loop on the puff stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, drop a loop once, twice, 3 times, and then 4 times. And then if you count these loops, you should have 9. We're going to yarn over and draw through all 9 loops. Then we're going to repeat what we just did. So pushing this forward, yarn in the back, we're going to increase in the next stitch. Make sure to push this puff stitch forward, increase. Then we're going to work 1 in the next 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the next 2. Then we're going to make another puff stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, drop a loop, insert, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over. That's 3 times, 4 times, draw through all 9 loops, and that's your next puff stitch. Front pause. Then we're going to push this forward, yarn in the back, and then go into the next stitch, and we're going to increase. Work 1 in the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to just repeat this again. This is going to be the repeat. So we're going to repeat what we just did again. So work an increase, 2 single crochet, 1 in the next 2, puff stitch, draw through 9, push it forward, increase in the next stitch, work 2 single crochet, and then do a puff stitch in the next stitch. Draw through these 9, increase in the next stitch, and then a single crochet 1 into the next or last 3 stitches. And if you count these, including the puff stitch, you'll have 30 stitches around. See how it's the little base of the cat feet? Yes, okay. So that's round 5 complete. Now we're going to move on to round 6. It's an increase round. Move the stitch marker. So for round 6, we're going to single crochet 4 or 1 into the next 4. And then on the side of this puff stitch, moving it over, there's this little, there's 2 loops. We're going to work an increase into those 2 loops. It's like to the right of the puff stitch. And then on the top of the puff stitch is the next single crochets, the 2 loops for the next single crochet. We're going to work into that. We're going to work into the next 4. So we're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, and then increase. So it's 4 single crochet, increase. So we're going to do the increase right to the right of the puff stitch. So we're just repeating that around. 4 single crochet, increase, 4 single crochet, increase. Okay, it's the last stitch. That is round 7 or round 6. Okay, so for rounds 7 through 10, it's just a repeat. We're going to single crochet into each of these stitches around for 4 rounds. So from round 7 through 10. And I'm going to do this off camera because time travel, right? Okay. So I'm just going to meet back up with you guys when you've completed that part. And yeah, I'll see you in a little bit with some movie magic. Okay, so this is round 10. The cat should start looking like a little bowl or a little cauldron. Yeah, so we're going to move on to round 11. 11 is going to have a decrease in it. It's a decrease round. So we're going to single crochet 4 or 1 in the next 4. And then we're going to do a invisible decrease by going into the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarning over, drawing through those 2 front loops, and then completing the single crochet by drawing through 2. And this is going to cause a decrease because we're single crocheting 2 together. We're just going to repeat what we just did. We're going to go 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, then we're going to do a decrease, invisible decrease. It's called an invisible decrease because it's virtually invisible, since it's just a mock single crochet kind of, and it just pulls those stitches closed. So we're just going to repeat that around. Single crochet in the next 4, and then a decrease. And this is the last 2, and we're just going to do the decrease. And we should, if you count your stitches, you should have 30 stitches at the end of this round. Now for rounds 12 through 14, which is 3 rounds total, we're going to just single crochet into each stitch around, and we will have 30 stitches in 3 rounds. So just single crochet into each stitch around, and I will meet back up with you guys when I have my 3 rounds complete. And then we'll move on to the tail. Movie magic. All right, bye. Okay, I am back. So this is 14, round 14. And I'm going to take the stitch marker off, pull up a loop, and then we're going to count 20 stitches from the start, because we're going to use this portion for the body, and we're going to mark off a section for making the tail, and we're just going to move on to the tail. So we're going to count 20 stitches and placing our stitch marker into the 20th stitch. So and then this is 20. So I'm going to mark the 20th stitch, and from here to here, this is 11 stitches, counting this marked stitch. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and we're going to add a stitch by doing a chain. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. So this is the marked stitch, this is the 10, and this is the 19 that we skipped. We're going to go like this, and we're going to single crochet into this marked stitch. And I'm going to take the stitch marker out and move it onto the stitch that we just made. So that's the next part of this. So we have total around the tail 12 stitches at the moment. So we're going to work into this stitch, and we're going to work into each of these stitches around, including the chain one that we made in the beginning. Then we're going to work into this chain one right here, just working into it normally like that. And then we'll have this little loop right here. We're going to use that for the body opening later. So I'm just moving my stitch marker. That was round 15 of the tail. So starting the tail, it's round 15. Then we're going to move on to round 16. So round 16, we're going to single crochet 6, 1 in the next 6. In the next stitch, we're going to make an increase. Then we're going to single crochet until we get to the stitch marker. So it should be 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. And then for good measure, because we want everything to be centered, we're going to take the stitch marker out and we're going to add a stitch. So in total, we will have single crocheted 6 from the increase, if that makes sense. We have the increase right here, and when we single crochet 2, 4, and then 6, and move the stitch marker. So we're going to have 13 stitches for round 16. Round 17, we're going to single crochet 1 in the next 5 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. Work single crochet 1 in the next 5 stitches. Decrease or invisible decrease over these 2 back loops. We're just gonna decrease, and then we're going to move the stitch marker out and work 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then put that stitch marker back on there. And then you can count, you should have 13. Yep, 13. Round 18, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 5, increase in the next stitch, work 1 into the next 5, Then we're going to decrease into the neck over the next 2 stitches and remove the stitch marker and single crochet, just like we did in the last round basically, and place that stitch marker. All right, so it's at this point where I think I would start stuffing the body and also the tail so that it's not harder to do later. So just gonna minimally stuff the body and the tail. I mean, it depends on how like mobile you want the tail. You could stuff it a little bit or a lot, whatever, doesn't matter to me. I'm just, yeah, I don't want to overstuff it or understuff it, and I don't want to put too much, so just like a little bit so I can keep working in the round. But yeah, because you want to like give it some shape while you're doing it. Okay, so round 19, we're going to single crochet. We're going to single crochet 1 in the next 5. And then we're going to increase in the next stitch. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 7. Right there. Because I did not do a decrease in this round, we're going to have 1 extra stitch, so our stitch count is going to go to 14. And we're going to move that stitch marker. So round 19 has 14 stitches. Okay, so round 20, we're going to single crochet 5. We'll increase in the next stitch. We're gonna single crochet in the next 6 stitches. We have 2 stitches remaining. We're gonna decrease and then place some more polyfill. Because the tail is just empty. Okay, so that's round 20. So for round 21, we're going to be single crocheting 1 in the next 6 stitches. In the next stitch, we're going to increase. We're going to single crochet 1 in the next 5 stitches. And then we're going to work a decrease. And and that will be 14 stitches total. For round 22, we're just gonna do a repeat. It's gonna be, we're gonna single crochet 1 in the next 5 stitches. And then we're going to decrease over the next 2 stitches, and that we're going to repeat that. So we're going to do 1 in the next 5, decrease over the next 2. And at this point we will have 12 stitches, and I'm gonna stuff a little more polyfill in here because we're nearing the point to where we're gonna close the top of this tail, so we want to make sure we have all of our stuffing in there. And the nice thing about this is it's open here, so we can push it up or down if we need to, or if we forget. Okay, so round 23. So round 23, we're going to repeat this around 3 times. We're going to single crochet 1 into the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and then we're going to do our decrease over the next 2 stitches. And just repeat that around. So 1 in the next 2, decrease, 1 in the next 2, and decrease, and we will have 9 stitches total. Okay, so round 24, it's the last round of the tail, and what we'll do is we're going to single crochet 1, decrease over the next 2, and that's 3 times we're doing that. 1, single crochet over the next 2, so 1, decrease over the next 2, and then cut the yarn. With a long enough tail to sew the tail. So we're going to use the tail to sew the tail. Tailception. I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch over to clean up the edge of this and pull it through like that. And like I said, since this part is open, we can push this up a little more if we need to, or pull it down. But I'm going to sew this closed right now. So what we're going to do is go through the front loops and just whip stitch, so pull it closed like that. I don't know if you guys can hear my children, but they're giggling in the background. I told them to try to be quiet several times, and so like they don't listen. Like it's like it's impossible for them to be quiet when I tell them to be quiet. So you guys are gonna enjoy or hopefully enjoy the background giggles and ambiance of what it sounds like over here. So I did what I just did, and then I'm gonna just go through the same loops, but like as if I'm trying to hide my tail, so I could just like secure that down more, and then I like go in the center of it so I can unpoof it because it's kind of poofed up a little bit before I do that, and then I just pull it down instead of like, yeah, I don't want to pucker it too much, but I want to round it out and just stuff a little more in here without it being overstuffed, because I don't want the polyfill showing through, but I do want the shape. You see how it's shaped curved? It's because I did increases on this side and decreases on this side, so it kind of makes it curve like that. Yep. And then I just hide the tail inside the body like it never happened. Hide the tail inside of the tail. Anyways, my puns are terrible. So that's the first part of this. It's just making the tail. And then what you want to do is kind of like mold it and stuff it and do whatever to it. Alright, so I'm going to grab the working yarn from the yarn ball and make a slip knot and put it on our hook. Because we're going to start with the tail, or we're going to start with the head. We're going to start the head. What we want to do is, with a piece facing us like this, we're going to attach our yarn into the stitch to the right of the tail. So this is the tail stitch right here, and then we're going to go one to the left of that and insert our hook with the yarn attached, and we're gonna just create a standing single crochet stitch by inserting it, and this works as a loop. And then we're just gonna yarn over and pull up 2 loops and then pull through those 2 loops, and that's our standing single crochet, or what I refer to as one. And then we're just gonna single crochet around until we get to the opposite side of the tail before working into the stitch that's already worked into the tail, and I'll show you where that is. But we're going to single crochet around, and we should have 24 stitches when we go around, but we're going to go around one time. It's going to be 20, and then we're going to work the next 4 stitches into these loops right here that are a part of the tail. And I'll show you what that looks like when I get around over there. And you gotta make sure you count your stitches. But amigurumi, for the most part, can be very forgiving with stitches and decreasing, as long as you don't, you know, screw up too bad. I think you'll be fine. So I'm on the other side. And then this is the last unworked stitch, if you could see that, because this is another stitch. Let me count my stitches really quickly. Actually put my stitch marker on the first stitch so I know where it begins. 2, 4, 6, 8, 18. So we have 19. Okay, so it's actually 19 that we're working in for this part of the body, and then we're going to be working into these stitches that are attached to the tail. So I'm just pulling the tail back. It won't hurt the cat, obviously. Anyways, so we're gonna work the next in these next 5. So we have 1, 2, this is that chain 1 that we made earlier, 3, we have the 4th one, and then the 5th one which we already worked in when we did the tail. So in total it will be 24, hopefully. If not, just burn it. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, that's round 1 of the head. Okay, so that was round 1. This is round 2. You're gonna have something that looks like this open. Doesn't matter. You're just gonna insert it directly into this standing single crochet, and you can fix this by kind of pulling it down and hiding it inside. So we're just going to single crochet around and work into the next 20 stitches, leaving 4 stitches unworked at the end. So we just single crochet 20 and leave 4 unworked. And the reason I say that is makes it a little easier, that you don't have to count all of those stitches, and you just know that you have 4 remaining. So we're gonna use those to decrease. All right, so this should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. That's 5. But if you count around, it should be 20, and then you should have 4 remaining. And in those last 4 stitches, we're gonna decrease twice. We're gonna do the invisible decrease over the next 2 stitches. And then decrease over the last 2. So we have 2 decreases, leaving us with 22 stitches for round 2 of the head. Okay, now we're moving our stitch marker. For round 3, we're gonna do it a little differently. It's gonna start off with a decrease and then over the next 2 stitches. So we're gonna decrease over these 2 stitches, grabbing the front loops and working a single crochet, invisible single crochet. And then we're gonna work around. We're gonna single crochet in the next 16 stitches, and we will have 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left remaining, and then we'll decrease over those. So we're just working around these next 16 stitches, I believe I said. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches remaining. You know, like, we're gonna decrease over the next 2 stitches and then decrease over the last 2 stitches for 2 decreases, and it's gonna start making the back of the cat. So this part is gonna like curve in like that. Okay, so that was 3. Now we're gonna do 4, which is the last decrease round of the ears / head. Okay, so we start off by doing a decrease over the next 2 stitches. We're going to single crochet 1 in the next 13, leaving 4 stitches unworked at this side. So it is what we're gonna do. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left unworked. And then we're going to decrease over the next 2 stitches and decrease over the last 2 stitches. And you'll have a total of 16 if you counted. And now we're going to move that stitch marker and then single crochet 3 to clean up the edge of the head. So 1, 2, 3, and then skip or then slip stitch chain one and cut the yarn because you're done almost. Cut it long enough to sew the top close. Before you stuff anything, you're going to place those eyes. So basically fold it, look at the front, see where the feet are. We're going to go line it up with that and count down 4. So from the top we count, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to place the eyes in between rounds 4 and 5. I dropped the eye. Of course I dropped the eye. We're going to line it up with the legs. Should be around here. Let me count back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. In line with the legs, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3 and place it in the next stitch. So what you're going to do is fold this and see if they're in line with each other, if you like the placement, because you can't change it later. It's just going to be how he lives his life. Okay. Just put the little backings on if you're like happy with how it looks. I mean, you can put the eyes wherever you want. You can put no eyes. I don't really care, but there. This is where I placed mine because it looks the best for whatever I want. I don't know why I had to say all that, but here we are. So, yep. Anyways, that's where the little eyes are, and I'm just gonna stuff the body a little more to give it more structure. Just stuff it until your ancestor screams stop, which can be whenever. Some of us have more finicky ancestors than the others, okay? But I like to place the polyfill like this and kind of like go like that to make my cat a little fatter and like shorter. And like to take all the hair out of what the heck's going on. So I think this is good. Yeah, maybe a little more. So you're gonna grab your needle to sew the top closed, and you're just gonna put that yarn through with the tail. This is, I did the 3. I like to go kind of like on the inside and pull it out of the next stitch like that with my finger in its head, holding its little, okay, well, that's dark. So I'm just gonna go in through the front stitch into the adjacent or parallel stitch across from it and just sew it like that. Go into the next, insert, pull it through the next stitch, and just like kind of like sew it close so we have little kitty ears forming. And this is how it's kind of no sew, but it also kind of is a sew pattern, but it's not so much sewing. Yep. I'm just gonna sew in and out. And if at this point you feel like you need more stuffing, then put it, because there's no going back unless you want to cut anyways. Do yourself a favor before you close it and put more polyfill in if you need to, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just sewed it closed, and you see how I have these little kitty type ears. Like, how cute is this? And I'm just gonna hide this, maybe like pull it through, tie a knot somewhere down the ways, kind of hide this tail so it's not bothering us later. But don't pull it too tight, because then it'll pull in. So I'm just gonna like find a stitch and do a little knot right there. Oops. But yeah, that should be good. I'm just gonna cut that. And you have a little meow meow, little cat. You can push this in, kind of bend it. But yeah, this is the little kitty. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, save me in a playlist, like, subscribe. Don't like, dislike, whatever, it's fine. But here's my kitty.